matter if you are anywhere in this supply chains, you are manufacturers, you are the buyers, you are the supply chains management, retailers, you will find yourself here in these measures. And how to be sustainable wherever you are, as much as you can. I have heard a lot of companies say, oh, we will be 100% sustainable in 2020s. I am not sure how much it can be 100% sustainable, because sometimes we think something's sustainable, but it's not. So let me bring you a little bit about the sustainable, the understanding, the good side of the sustainability in every step of this supply chain, from raw material manufacturing, from textile manufacturing, garment manufacturing, distribution network, sales and purchasing. This is where most of the buyers, retailers here, and the final consumer. And then what next to have the sustainability of the whole supply chains. First, we start with raw material manufacturing. And raw material, sustainable raw material that have a lot. And I think with walking around this hall 2 or hall 3 or hall 4, you will see a lot of company advertise about recycled polyester, recycled nylon. It's getting known, it's getting popular, and it's actually pricing is getting a lot better than it used to be, because the technology is helping and the materials resources are available more than it used to be. So it's getting ready. But what else we have in this raw material except for recycled polyester and recycled nylon to be sustainable? So first off, let's say, can we use recycled cotton? It is yes, but it's very difficult. Most of the recycled cotton, the industry today, the technology doesn't support the post-consumer recycle in cotton. So when you recollect the cotton and remake it, recycle it into the fiber form, it has a lot of hiccup, a lot of problem of dyeing absorption, the strength, everything. Right now, most of the recycled cotton that you see in the market today is for lining only. Why? Because they actually collect the recycled cotton from the blower, the fiber. So they collect the fiber and make it into the fabric. The fabric would have very short fiber and it doesn't absorb the dye evenly. So they can only use recycled cotton for lining instead of house shell fabric. But yes, recycled cotton is possible. But then let's take a new approach. And instead of dyeing cotton, or instead of using the cotton dye, can we use the natural cotton? It's a new concept, it's a new way. And if anybody here is a designer, can we take this into the concept of the future, using natural cotton instead of using dyed cotton, using white cotton? So without dyeing, then you save the water, you save industry, the CO2 emission, and you also save the environment. That's a new concept. Instead of using dyed cotton, using the raw cotton or undyed cotton as the fashion. Can we use, instead of using cotton fabric, can we use another material like hemp? So what is hemp? Hemp is a sustainable tree. It's growing very straight, so it consumes less land and reserve more land for crop. Cotton uses a lot of land, it's a large surface of land. But hemp is compact together and growing straight, so we are using very few surface of land and you can reserve land for crop. That's sustainable. On the other hand, hemp is actually growing by itself. You don't have to water it, no pesticide, no fertilizer. It's just growing on its own by the rainwater. So it's sustainable by that way. If you look at the cotton needs a lot of water. So you have to use water for cotton when you grow it. And you need pesticide and fertilizer too, just to grow the cotton. So using hemp is a new way of replacing cotton. Hemp looks like linen, but it's not. Actually, linen, you cannot have a very fine yarn count to have a very lightweight fabric. Mostly hemp is combining with cotton, and it has a slub and naps, much more than hemp. But hemp is a long fiber and very strong fiber, much more than stronger than cotton. So you can actually spin the hemp yarn to very fine yarn count up to 50, 60 single, and then making a very lightweight fabric to replace cotton. And hemp is a strong fiber, stronger than cotton. So hemp can sustain, come in please. So hemp can sustain or withstand from any heavy treatment after making the fabric. So like you do a heavy garment wash, you do a heavy bleach wash, the hemp can sustain and withstand with all of those aggressive and heavy process. So hemp is also an ideal material to replace cotton in the future, and also is sustainable. So recycled wool. Many of the customers say recycled wool can only happen in Italy. And some of the specific suppliers that they do this recycled wool for so long because they are collecting the cut piece, the wool fabric cut piece from the cutting room, from the suit manufacturing, and then recycle it. Now recycled wool is actually getting more popular, and India is also known as the source for the recycled wool. And they are making a lot more variety from the recycled wool, not just only the simple chunky fabric like the old time that the technology doesn't support. And the question is if recycled wool can get any certificate, so we can go into the market and market in it. Yes, they have GRS, the Global Recycle Standard, and they also have CRS, which is the Certificate of Recycle Standard. Whatever. So yes, recycled wool also getting popular today to be used. Recycled polyester, like I said, yes, it's getting popular now, and pricing is getting more reasonable now for recycled polyester, and more brand is getting into this. You used to see a lot of performance sportwear, Nike, Adidas is getting into this, but now all the brands are asking for any regular item, like their shirt using the recycled polyester, their jacket and outerwear is using recycled polyester today. So it's getting very popular, and even if you are using recycled polyester for fit down, for polyfill, you fill the recycled polyester inside insulation instead of regular polyester, the really sustainable. Recycled nylon as well. Recycled nylon has the interesting story because many of the manufacturers claim that they have the recycled nylon. But again, recycled nylon is not like polyester. There's no technology out there supporting the most consumer recycle yet in nylon. So most of the recycled nylon material is coming from the industry recycle. Like the nylon supplier or the nylon maker, they have a lot of mismelting, a lot of waste, a lot of things during their production process. And they are recollecting all of the material to recycle it and make it the new, make it the recycled nylon instead of using the virgin nylon or fresh nylon that they call recycled nylon. So there's a number of limited supplier for recycled nylon only because the raw material resources is limited. But again, yes, we have many suppliers in Taiwan, also supply in China that supply the material to recycle nylon material and recycle yarn as well. Dope dye. So dope dye is a new way or new thinking of sustainable material, because dope dye is not using water to dye the fabric. Dope dye is the color is embedded or like in the master batch of the polymerization process. So you get the color already in the chip form. If it's a nylon, it's a poly, nylon dope dye and poly dope dye already have the colors on the master batch on the chip. So when you draw the yarn from there, the yarn already have the colors. So when you have that color yarn weaving into fabric, knitting into fabric, you don't have to dye the fabric again. So the fabric don't have to go through dyeing. You save the water, save energy, and save the work by not admitting carbon footprint. So that is also the new thinking of the sustainable. And why dog dye? This technology is not new, but why it's getting popular today, or it's getting available today? It is just because before the technology didn't support the master batch dyeing. So you have the color from the yarn look very dull, it's not vibrant, it's not light color. But today you have a palette of more than 1,500 colors you can select from to design with. And you can actually combine, the best thing about dog dye is you can combine the color, the yarn together and twist it into header, to different color, to different mix, and the designer are free to play around with the color part. And the color today, actually, the dog dye, they can actually do neon color as well for workwear, just so you know. Advantage of dog dye, color consistent, no color fastness. That's the best characteristic of dog dye polyester or dog dye nylon. And of course, you have sustainability story to tell. So fiber dye. Fiber dye is also similar to dog dye, but it's for short fiber. And fiber dye, you usually see this in wool fabric, in top dye. So when you have the 100% cotton header fabric, it's coming from the header top dye yarn, and the yarn was dyed in fiber form. So this fiber dye is getting more popular because it has the sustainable story to tell as well. Because you don't dye the fabric, so you save the water, save the energy, and you save the environment. That's the story to tell. So why it have to be polyvisco or polyrayon and polyrayon spandex? You can do top dye in wool, you can do top dye in cotton, but now you can do top dye in the polyester and rayon together. And it combined into beautiful fabric. It can be both knitted and woven. And the advantage of this fiber dye is also color consistency over the season, no color fading, and also no color shading. Because you don't dye the fabric, you actually dye in the fiber form, getting into yarn and weave it. So this is getting popular in the workwear, in the corporate wear, that they have to wear separate and they buy things separately. And even in the tailor wear called suit separate. So you wear suit different with a different hand, different day. That's getting popular now in fiber dye, and it has this sustainable story to tell. Blend-based material. You know, blend-based material is getting into our textile world not too long ago, and you see the potato skin, the potato biopolymer, or even corn oil polymer is coming into our industry, and it's getting into the polymer. Like if you know Sorona from Dupont, the Sorona is 30% corn oil base polymer, and the rest mixing with the other polymerization to have the Sorona yarn or fiber. So more and more brand and retailers or customers are looking for bio-based or plant-based material, including those starch polymer, the corn oil polymers, all of those are now available as well. Other than that, if you heard about banana silk, it is getting there. It is in the market now, not in a big way, but yes, it's coming. And at least, you know, you like recycled poly, recycled nylon before, it was not popular because the technology doesn't support that much yet. Now it is very popular because it's getting more reasonable in pricing and it's getting easier to make. It's like a banana silk, it just came out. It doesn't have the technology to support the larger scale yet, but will be in the future because it's sustainable. And it is, but milk fiber, you know, milk fiber, if you go into Google and type milk fiber, they will come out with a lot of videos, a lot of pictures of the fabric that they're already there in the market. In a small scale, again, you know, there's no technology to support a larger scale yet, but I believe that it will be ready in the future, very near future, when there's more demand from the brand and all this part. All right, so that's about the materials manufacturing, and I'm sure there's a lot more out there for sustainable material. And every day, people are thinking about the new innovation, new polymer, new fiber that will help with the sustainable story or at the sustainability storytelling. So, what about textile manufacturing? Textile manufacturing is also have a lot of new innovation, new way, thanks to all the chemical supplier, to all the machinery supplier that working day and night to invent any new machine with a sustainable story behind. So you can see this is the knitting machine we call spinning system. Spinning is spinning, knitting together. We call spinning system, developed by Mayer&C, the Germany technology. And there are only 7 machines in the world today, 1 in America for testing, 1 in India for testing, and 5 in Asia. The machine, the advantage of this machine is knitting directly from the cotton roving. You know, in the spinning system, after you blow the cotton in the blower, getting the cotton out, doing the combing to remove the contamination, and also making the fiber softer, then it come out with this roving. So in the spinning system, this roving will be spinning. And they spin into the small yarn, and then they winding it and turning into the big cone and selling. So with it knitting, it knit directly from the cotton fiber. So we skip spinning, no winding, no coning. You save 3 process, save energy, save money, and no carbon emission. This knitting machine, since they knitted directly from the cotton roving, so the hand feel of the cotton is very sharp because there's no spinning in there. It knit directly from fiber. Again, because of no twisting, no spinning, the t-shirt made from this spinning system doesn't twist after washing. You usually have a t-shirt problem that you wash several times and it just turns the size into here. You know, so that's a problem of twisting. But this knitting machine will not give you any, it will give you the advantage of getting away from that problem. And it is very soft, but it is saving cost. So the cost is cheaper than regular t-shirt. So this Dyco waterless, no chemical dyeing. It's not a new technology actually. It's been in the market for quite some years. Nike was the first company supported this technology and set up the first dyeing machine in Thailand. Today in the world there are about, I think more than 10 machines that dyeing without water and no chemical. Dyeing directly, it's using the carbon liquid. I mean, it's carbon, and then it's liquid dyes, and then it gets the dye stuff into the fabric without water. So this is, say, waterless or no water dyeing technology. It's there, and it's getting more popular because everybody is getting more serious about the environment and about the pollution of the textile technology. So this is getting more and more popular now. Again, like dot dye and fiber dye, I already introduced to you before. It is also there. It's a way of producing textile manufacturing that is saving water, saving energy, and no carbon emission. Wrangler had foam dye denim. So what is foam dye denim? It's actually using no water. It's actually using foam to dye the indigo into the yarn and weaving into the denim. And I think this technology right now is not popular outside Wrangler yet, but the same technology, once any leader come out on the market, other innovation people, other company will follow. So this is getting there in the future with more sustainable storage. They are using foam to dye the indigo denim without water. Aniline free. So not sure if you know aniline. What is aniline? Aniline is it's like a toxic chemicals in the indigo powder. The indigo powder that it dye the indigo denim. So usually it has their aniline to allow the indigo to absorb into the fiber and stay there. The aniline is not good for environment, not good for skin. But then when you wash the garment, you cannot wash out completely yet. We tested many times together with the chemical supplier, and the only jean with the stone wash bleached down, we still have about 15 ppm aniline on the garment. 15 ppm is not much, but it's still there. But you can imagine like a rinse wash, the raw jeans, it stay there on the garment and for a long time, it affecting your skin. And even if you wash it, the aniline will go to the water and end up in the ocean or somewhere around the river, and it's affecting the environment, killing the fish, killing the environment. So aniline is not good for the environment and not good for human. That's why Acroma, the chemical company, the dyeing chemical company, come out with the aniline-free denim. So it's actually using the liquid aniline-free, and they can dye the indigo, beautiful indigo, and you have the aniline-free jeans now, which is very good in the market. Cool trans. I'm not sure if you have ever heard about this cool trans. Cool trans is the printing. Usually you have heat transfer, which is you transfer the color from the film or from the paper onto the fabric during the heat process. So it's transferring the color, like polyester or like cotton, you have the heat transfer printing machine, or they call it sublimation. Sublimation is a way of heat transfer. So you transfer the color to the fabric after heating. This cool trans technology is transferring the color onto the fabric in the normal temperature condition. So that is sustainable because it doesn't use a lot of energy to heat up the machine. It transfers the color up to 89 to 90% of the color being transferred on the fabric at the regular condition. That's why some of the company like Uniqlo or Nike, they have the ultralight jacket. The jacket has very thin fabric, nylon fabric. It's about 10, 15 denier, 20 denier, very lightweight fabric. You cannot do print on the heat transfer because the heat transfer will melt the fabric. So they are using this cool trans machine to transfer the print onto the fabric. But this machine, a new generation, they call it satellite print machine. The newest machine, the third generation from this new tech company, that they have the ability to print two sides at the same time. So you can print one pattern on the face and you can print solid on the back. But I also have the experience seeing the machine printing same color on the top and the bottom to be a solid black. So you actually can print the color on a small lot. Like you design and you have only 50, 100 pieces per color, it's impossible to dye the color. They print two sides, same color as the dye color. And the color fastness is very good. So this is a new concept and new technology supporting our future. Number one, printing at a regular temperature, so it saves the energy, doesn't have to heat up the machine. Number two, it can print both sides of the fabric at the same time, and it can actually print the solid color, like you dye the fabric, but in the small lot. This is the new technology I introduced you in textile manufacturing. What about garment manufacturing? What do we have new here in the garment industry, garment technology? So first thing first, you have to source the material and the trims, the accessory, locally. Why locally? Because you have to source the material closer to your source. Because people believe that you ship the fabric, for example, if we base in Vietnam, we buy the fabric from India or we buy the fabric from China, we ship to Vietnam. You have to get it on a boat, you have to get it on a vessel, and you are using the energy, and you have the CO2 emission to the environment. So getting the material closer to home means you are saving the energy. You are saving the energy for the future. So you don't have to ship the product from somewhere else to your factory to make it. So sourcing material and trim locally is a priority for many of the factories in Vietnam today. Consider it a sustainable logistics or sustainable supply chain. Secondly, planning production intelligently. It's a lot of time I see that the factory have a large order, and once they place the order, they bring all the material in at the same time. And sometimes the fabric sitting in the factory for over 2 months, 3 months uncut. There's maybe a problem happening to the fabric after such a long time in the warehouse, or maybe you get stuck with your finance with a lot of fabric in the warehouse without being used in 3 months later. So that is not sustainable. In a manufacturing point of view, that's not sustainable. So this is not talking about material sustainable anymore, it's about business sustainable. So you have to plan very intelligently for your material, your trim, your production process, and everything goes through smoothly, so you can turn the production or you can turn your finance on a smooth run. So that's the new concept or new thinking way of sustainable, or we call it business sustainable. And also for the manufacturing, except for having the renewable power source, a lot of factories using the solar panel on their roof right now, because it's true the garment factory has a very large roof, and especially in Vietnam or in those countries in Asia that we have a lot of sunshine. It's very hot out there, 32 to 35 degrees centigrade there. So solar power is getting popular in Vietnam today, and a lot of factories actually using their whole roof of the factory for the solar energy for their own factory use. Other than that, lean and automation is also a new way of thinking sustainable in manufacturing garment. Lean process is, I'm not sure if everybody here is understanding about lean processes. It came from Toyota manufacturing process. So you actually cut waste. You cut every single waste, and the biggest waste in the garment industry is time. So this person waits for another person to bring them the pen or for them to show in their operation. It's a waste of time. So in garment industry, we have a lot of waste, especially garment factory has a lot of waste, and time is the biggest waste for them. So lean manufacturing is also waste cutting, and that's sustainable. Automation is also helping the productivity and also helping with the time saving, and that's also a kind of sustainable. AI inspection, it is a new idea, but I see many factories are using it now. Making the inspection of a garment at the end of the production line is a pain. The worker standing all day to do the inspection inside, outside, all the operation. It's just hard. So many of the factories already have the software to do the AI inspection. So all of the, it's using the camera sensing for the defects, sensing for the measurement. So you just place the garment on the table, and the software actually read the garment, and they will tell you the measurement, if it's plus or minus, intolerant or without tolerant, automatically if you place the garment right on the table, on the inspection table. Other than that, some basic defects when you enter into the database, so the software can read it and detect it, the garment at the defects. So it's actually saving a lot of time. This is also a new way of thinking sustainable in garment manufacturing. Other than that, the last one, but it's a very important one, is the corporate social responsibility, or we call it the social compliance. So the factory, if the factory doesn't pay the workers on time, it doesn't pay the insurance, doesn't pay the right salary, it's not sustainable factory. So everybody is in the world now, all the countries are now demanding for social compliant factory to be certified by RAP, by BSCI, by this organization, that organization. And they're getting a lot tougher and tougher in the standard. So social compliant is also a way of being responsible in business. So it's a sustainable business. All right, so what we have in the distribution networks and sale and purchasing, this is a very interesting part I would like to bring you the new idea. Can we make a purchase closer to home? And I think this question is very hard to answer. And let's get an example, like the President Trump in the United States saying that trying to make the American great again, right? So bringing all the industry back to America. Can anybody bring the factory from Vietnam back to America and produce in America? I don't think so. Things change. So it's not sustainable anymore, and you have to go out because the cost, because of the price, because of the availability of labor force and other things. So purchase closer to home is seem to be a mission impossible. But purchasing closer to home is sustainable. So it's sustainable that you don't have to bring the good over the ocean, wasting the energy, wasting the emitting a lot of carbon footprint. But again, it's not sustainable today because the market itself, the consumer itself, already got spoiled. Everybody wants cheaper price. So it's not possible, but it's a sustainable idea. All right. So e-commerce, is e-commerce sustainable? Is that sustainable for e-commerce? It is interesting because a lot of information on the internet say, oh, well, the e-commerce has been increased 300% over the past 1 or 2 years. Nobody tell you how many percent return from the e-commerce. Amazon never tell you how much the return is. Only if you are the vendor from Amazon, you will know yourself how much you got return. It's got hurt. And a lot of company in the US is actually having a very good return policy, that they ship it to you, and they ship it to you with the airway bill and the box. So if you don't like it, they put it back and send it back. That's it. So it's not sustainable. It's a new trend of shopping. It's a new habit. It's a new thing, but it's not sustainable. Unfortunately, the apparel industry, or we say the shopping industry today, is the entertainment. So if you ask the people to come to the store and shop the old way, they don't do. Internet thing is the new thing. It's a new trend. So shopping on the internet, e-commerce, it's a trend. It's the new entertainment. We have to accept it, but it's not sustainable somehow. All right. So again, for distribution network, that you have to do planning intelligently, because you cannot buy closer to home. You cannot make garment closer to home. So you have to plan getting the product from Asia, from China, from Vietnam, from Bangladesh, from anywhere. But you have to plan it diligently, and the lead time is very important. A lot of companies have to plan at least 6 months out of the year for one season. So you have to plan from the time that you do the order placing until the good get into your warehouse is more than 6 months. Can we do something less than 6 months? Can we do something for 1 month? Can we do something for 2 months? That is sustainable thinking. Because if any factory, anybody is still thinking, oh, you give me the order in December, I'm going to ship to you in August next year. That's not sustainable anymore. I know, because people say, oh, I need time to bring fabric. And what is your fabric lead time? 45 days, 60 days. Sometimes, no, they just need it tomorrow. So that's a market today, and that's a thinking way, that's a sustainable thinking way of getting shorter lead time and be ready to service any time, and have to ship it out within, the lead time have to be within 2 months or 3 months maximum. Because you have 1 month transportation from anywhere in Asia to anywhere here in Europe and US, for 1 month transportation already. All right, business ethic. Business ethic is sometimes forgotten, because I have a lot of customers come to me and say, hey Teddy, I got this t-shirt from, I got this shirt from Bangladesh at $1.50. I said, oh my God, how can you make it? How can you get $1.50? Oh yeah, I got $1.50. And I asked, did you ask the factory to be compliant? Did you ask the factory to pay the worker on time? Did you ask the factory to pay the worker on the right salary, then how can you get that $1.50? It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable at all. Or, for example, the buyer keep going from one country to another because the pricing, they have to chase the price. They have to chase anywhere that pricing can be cheaper. People move from China to Bangladesh, people move from Vietnam to Bangladesh. Bangladesh used to be cheap, but they are not anymore. Because all the buyers coming in and demand for the social compliance, social accountability, they demand for better work, they demand for better life, they demand for better factory condition, better pay, but they don't pay. It's not sustainable. They're looking for lower price, but they're still asking for a lot of standard. That is not possible. So I just make a job. Somebody come to me and say, I need this for $4. Oh no, my price is $5. No, but I need this for $4 only. So after working hard day and night, okay, I get you $4. I re-engineer the fabric, re-engineer the products. I'll get you $4. Oh, Teddy, I forgot to tell you my quantity is 1,000 pieces, but color only. Can you do it? Oh, I got it. Okay, so I try it. Okay, I'll do 1,000 pieces per color. But then, Teddy, I forgot to tell you my payment term is 120 days. That's not sustainable. one way or another, people have the ability to source for better, but again, as a supply chain, we all get connected, and it's affecting one way or another. If I got affected, my worker will get affected too. And so you push me, and I'm pushing around the supply chain. What I can do? I push my fabric guy, I push my garment factory guy. They got affected too. So that's the new thinking way of sustainable. And how can we be sustainable in this way? I'm not asking for any buyer to go in and say, Teddy, this everybody offer me $4 and I give you $5. No. But something has to be reasonable in this way. All right, so I like this one, the new 4P. The old 4P was it's old. It's the old school. It's old time. The new 4P today, people are talking about first profit. Second is people. Then they build the products. Then they consider about planet. But it's the dilemma. It's the catch-22 because everybody wants sustainable. Everybody wants to be sustainable. But then, okay, so let's think about planet. Okay, so I'm happy sustainable products. But in the end, oh no, your product is too expensive, I can't buy. My profit is first. So, which way I have to do? You want me to be, as an innovation company, getting you some product, sustainable for the planet, and good for people, and you're looking for profit. So this is a new P. Actually, there's no answer here, but it's a new idea just to bring up between profit, people, products, and planet. So if we want to be sustainable, it has to be a reasonable way to put this together. All right, final consuming. Can the consumer reduce buying? Yes, they can, but again, the retailers or the one who sell to the consumer, they don't want it. They want to sell more because their profit is so slim and they want to sell more quantity to get more profit back. So they are pushing the consumer to buy. Can the consumer, if the consumer stop buying for 1 year, do they still have clothes to wear? I'm sure yes. Because shopping today is entertainment, not a necessity anymore. So, but if the consumer stop buying, all the retailer got scary. Oh my God, my turnover is down, my profits is down. How can we do it? Pushing for lower price, doing the promotion, getting the marketing, not in the markdown. Everybody is going back and buy. Thus, we cannot push the consumer to buy less. But actually, buying less will be sustainable. I'll tell you why. So, fast fashion. Everybody is talking about fast fashion in Europe, in America, everywhere. Fast fashion. Is fast fashion sustainable? Do you think fast fashion is sustainable? I agree with you. Fast fashion is not sustainable. Because You do fast fashion, you turn quick. You actually need price, and you actually take a lot of things out of the products. The consumer believe fast fashion is just for fashion, and then they wear it for one time. They wear it for 1 week, and then they just don't even remember they bought it, and they throw it. And in the end, the products ended in the landfill, end up in the ocean, ended in the environment, wherever that you think is polluted. But fast fashion, the concept of the fast fashion is from the retailers that want to sell more and faster, and actually spoil up all the consumer. The consumer just buy it for cheap, and they wear it for one time and dump it. So fast fashion is not sustainable. All right, so can the consumer remake their clothes into something else? This is something, yes, but it needs the education. It needs a lot of program. It needs a lot of big voices from all the big brand leader like Nike, Adidas, like Gap, like all the big companies, that they have to be the leader of the education. So the consumer can think, oh, okay, I have to be responsible, to be sustainable in my position as much as I can. So if I can reuse the garment, I don't use it anymore, or I make it into something else, I donate it to something else where they need, rather than just dump it in the landfill. So that is the new way of thinking for sustainable, and we need all the brand out there, all the big company out there to do this education together and make the consumer aware of their responsibility. So this is the joke. Can we come back to the Stone Age era? And is that sustainable? Because we don't wear anything, so we don't pollute the industry. We don't need the dye. We don't need fabric. We don't have the carbon emission. We don't use energy, anything. I'm sorry, this is not sustainable. All right. Can consumer repair their clothing? Yes, again, this is yes. We need someone out there, some brand out there, just to help the new education, to send out the message, to make all the messages in their marketing tool that encourage the people to reuse, renew their clothing. All right, so I talk a lot about the new idea of sustainable, and what do we have from Vietnam? So you see the flag on the back, on the left is Vietnam. And we have green garment factory today. So there's a lot of factory using the renewable power source from solar panel. They recycle the waters, they reuse the fabric cutting, all of those. So this is getting very popular there in Vietnam. We have green fabric mills as well. So the fabric mill is taken seriously into non-polluted processing. No water dyeing, low temperature dyeing, non-toxic chemicals, all of those happening now in Vietnam. We have the factory that strictly follow the social compliance responsibility. Vietnam is pretty good on treating the workers right. There's not many strikes that you hear of about from Vietnam compared to many other countries. So Vietnam is doing a very good job on the social compliance responsibility. This is interesting about sustainable supply chains. So Vietnam, you can have 100% sewing thread locally sourced, 90% accessory you can find in Vietnam, 80% yarn that you can find from Vietnam, 70% of knit fabric that you can get, all kinds from performance cotton plant, 60% of denim fabric that you can find in Vietnam, 50% of cotton plant like woven shirt, bottom weight that you can do it in Vietnam, 40% woven synthetic fabric for jacket, outerwear, activewear, 30% of functional fabric for outerwear, and 20% of wool blend fabric for suiting. Those are the correct number today that Vietnam can offer locally from our mill. Recycled polyester and recycled nylon. You think that it's only happened in Taiwan, only happened in China. No, we have the fabric in Vietnam already with the recycled polyester, recycled nylon, by importing the BOY from Taiwan, from China. So we texturize the yarn in Vietnam, we weave in Vietnam, knit in Vietnam. So the original source of the material is still coming from China and Taiwan for the recycled poly and recycled nylon. but we bring the BOY instead of finished products, and then we do the texturizing in Vietnam, we've been knitting in Vietnam to have the fabric recycled. Fiber dye of the polyrayon and polyrayon spandex fiber dye, we also have that in Vietnam. We import the yarn from India and from China that they already dye in the fiber form and spin into the yarn. We just bring the yarn into Vietnam for weaving knitting in Vietnam. Aniline-free denim. So I already introduced you about aniline-free denim. We have aniline-free denim in Vietnam now. So I think it's certified by many of US customer and Akroma as well. It got very yearly audited, but the mill is fully committed using aniline-free only in their mill. On the right, you will see that logo. It's my company logo. It's Aurora Investment Global Limited. And what we have inside, our company is the innovation company. We are the vertical garment manufacturing in Vietnam. So we have our fabric mill, we have our fabric team, we have our garment factory, and we also have product development team in-house with all of the new idea resources. So we have sustainable supply chain that we manage. We have the recycled poly collection, recycled nylon collection. We have dove dye, polyester dove dye nylon collection. We have fiber dye collection. We have recycled wool collection. We have spinnet system. I already explained to you the spinnet. So we have the spinnet system, the new sustainable cotton collection. We have hemp collection. It's sustainable. And it's aniline-free denim that we also have. So yeah, in the end, I am not trying to sell the country. I'm trying to tell you what we can do in Vietnam. Any question, please? All right. So we are at Hall 2, booth number M101. Drop me a name card. And request me any presentation file. Then we can send you by email. We have all of the sustainable presentation from hemp, from fiber dye, from anything. If you need information, I will share with you. So just drop your name card at my booth and then send me an email at the request. My name card is at the booth as well. Yes? Oh, one microphone. Yes, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Hi everybody, so my section is over, and if there's no more question, thank you very much for listening. And if anybody is still interested, then just see me at the booth. I'm 101. Thank you.